Hey everyone, so today in this segment we are talking about keratitis, we are talking about cornea, we are talking about layers of cornea, and then we'll look at the keratitis, its types, inflammation, and its treatment. Cornea is the transparent part that we can see in the anterior portion of our eye. So what is the cause of transparency? We'll discuss about it later. But first, for now, we'll talk about the layers of cornea. So basically, cornea has 6 layers. Initially there was 5 layer, but in 2013, another layer that was discovered by an Indian scientist has been added, and this is the 6th layer. The overall thickness of the cornea is around 550 micrometer, okay, and the segments are the layers of cornea, starting from outside to innermost layers. The outermost layer is the epithelium. Beneath that we have the Bowman's capsule. Beneath the Bowman's layer we have stroma. Beneath the stroma we have predesmos layer, and this is the layer that has been recently discovered in 2013. And beneath the predesmos layer we have desmos membrane or desmos layer, and the innermost layer is known as endothelium layer, and this is the innermost layer of the cornea. Being more specific about these layers, the outermost epithelium is made up of stratified squamous, non-keratinized epithelium, and the cells that are present in the epithelium layer are known as wing cells or basal cells. Below that we have Bowman's membrane. So this Bowman's membrane is a very strong layer, okay? This is very strong layer made up of thin connective tissues, and this layer is a vascular layer. This layer cannot repair itself when it is damaged. So any damage to the Bowman's layer will cause scarring of the cornea. And beneath the Bowman's layer we have stroma. The stroma accounts for 90% of the corneal thickness, and the stroma contains collagen fibers. Below to it we have predesmate layer. This layer that I basically talked about is also known as Dua's layer, and this was discovered by a scientist named Harminder Dua. He was an Indian ophthalmologist who is working in Great Britain, and this was discovered in 2013. And beneath the pre-Dua's layer we have desmos membrane. The desmos membrane is extremely strong connective tissue layer, and basically none of the infection can penetrate this layer except fungal infection. So only fungal infection and fungal hyphae can penetrate desmos membrane, and this fungal infection of the cornea is really hard to manage, okay, and this causes severe mycotic keratitis. The innermost layer is endothelium. The endothelium contains hexagonal cells that is highly rich in sodium potassium ATPase pump, and this is one of the reason that cornea has transparency, because this cell does not allow water diffusion inside. Similarly, the endothelium cells cannot repair itself when it is damaged, and the number of cells in the endothelium layer is always fixed. So basically there is around 3000 cells per millimeter square area of cornea, and this endothelium cells are one of the major determining factor during keratoplasty. So what happens is, during keratoplasty, that is the transplantation of cornea, if the amount of cell in the endothelium is less than 500, then that cornea is considered to be unfit for transplantation and that cornea is not accepted. However, in the Indian subcontinent region, when there is keratoplasty, what happens is the amount of endothelium cells must be greater than 2000 cells per meter square for the transplantation to occur. So these are the 6 layers of cornea. Now, in the next portion, we'll talk about corneal transparency. Transparency of cornea. So, cornea and sclera both are made up of same type of collagen fibers, but sclera is white in color, whereas cornea is transparent and allows light to pass through it. So what are the reasons for the transparency of cornea? We'll talk about 3 main reasons. The first one being the avascular nature of the cornea. So cornea is not supplied by any type of blood vessel, and that is one of the reasons that makes it transparent. Similarly, the second reason is the presence of endothelium cells. These endothelium cells that is present in the innermost layer of cornea are highly rich in sodium potassium ATPase pump, and this pump, what it does, it prevents the diffusion of water and its accumulation inside, and this prevents corneal edema as well, and this also causes transparency of cornea. And the final reason is in the sclera we have the ununiform arrangement of the collagen fibers, whereas in the cornea there is uniform lamellar arrangement of this collagen fibers, and thus it causes transparency of the cornea. So 3 main reasons: avascular, endothelium rich in sodium potassium ATPase pump, and third one is the uniform arrangement of lamellar or collagen fibers.